You're watching a Highwire Media podcast.
Our case today takes place in Florida. Now, if you know anything about Florida, you know it kind of has a reputation for being the setting for some of the most bizarre, outlandish, straight up unbelievable crimes in the U.S. So let me set the scene. October 4th, 2008, Boynton Beach, Florida. 38-year-old man named Michael Dippolito decides to hire an escort for the evening while his wife is out of town. Michael called the service, and about 35 minutes later, a 26-year-old woman named Dalia Muhammad showed up at his front door. Now, I don't know what kind of magic Dalia had. 2 weeks after the first meeting, Michael filed for divorce from his wife, who he'd been married to for 7 years, and immediately proposed to Dalia with a $20,000 engagement ring. Yep, 2 weeks. Wow. She said yes, of course, and they got married just 4 months later, February 2nd, 2009. I mean, they were over the top affectionate, kind of PDA that makes people uncomfortable. Friends even said it got awkward to be around them because they were just constantly all over each other. Now rewind a bit. Michael had a bit of a past. He'd served 7 months in prison back in 2001 for a fraud scheme and had been sentenced to 28 years of probation. Yes, 28 years. So as you can imagine, he had to be very careful. One day in March 2010, just a month into his new marriage, his probation officer showed up unannounced for the first time ever. The officer, along with 2 detectives, told Michael they'd received multiple anonymous tips. He was selling drugs out of the home he now shared with Dalia. They searched the house, found nothing. Then the next weekend, Michael and Dalia took a little trip to a resort in Palm Beach. While they were there, police showed up again, this time searching Michael's car in the hotel parking lot for yet another anonymous tip. Again, nothing was found. But 2 weeks later, after dinner at a fancy restaurant, they walked out to find, police searching Michael's car once again. And this time, they found something. A bag of cocaine tucked inside a cigarette pack. Michael freaked out. He was like, "This isn't mine. I'm being set up. This has happened 3 times. Luckily, the police believed him. They were starting to notice the pattern, too. The next morning, Dalia told Michael she was pregnant. Michael, thinking they were about to start this new exciting chapter together, was over the moon. So it's now the summer of 2009. Michael and Dalia are living their newlywed life, seemingly normal, going about their day-to-day routines. One morning, around 5:40 a.m., Dalia heads off to the gym, and Michael starts getting ready to walk their dogs. Seems like a completely ordinary morning, until about an hour later, when Dalia got a call in the gym from a sergeant with the Boynton Beach Police Department. He told her she needed to come home immediately. Something had happened. They rushed back only to find their streets swarmed with news crews, crime scene tape, and police. When she walked up to the officers, they told her something absolutely devastating. They had responded to her reports of shots fired, and her husband, Michael Dippolito, had been killed. Can you imagine hearing that? So police bring Dalia into the station. She's crying, she's emotional. She tells them how her husband was on probation and that someone had been trying to set him up. He even throws out a couple of names, business associates who might have had a beef with him. He's visibly upset, sobbing, playing the part of the devastated widow. But then the detective brings a man in the interrogation room in handcuffs. The detective says, "You recognize this man?" Dalia, through the tears, says, "No." The officer explains, "We caught him leaving your house after the 911 call." Still, Dalia insists, "No idea who he is." They take that man out of the room, and then they bring in someone else. The door opens, and in walks Michael, alive and well. That's right, not dead, totally alive. Dalia's whole world just cracked open. At that moment, the detectives tell her to drop the act. The jig is up. They know everything. Michael knows everything. Now the whole world would know everything too. She had tried to hire a hitman to kill her husband. But here's the kicker. The hitman she hired, he was actually an undercover cop. So how did we get here? How did the police pull off this fake murder sting? Let's rewind just a bit. After that 3rd time Michael got pulled over and the cops found cocaine in his car, he started putting the piece together. No one but Dalia had known they were going out to dinner that night. So he asked her point blank, "Did you do this? Did you plant those drugs in my car?" And instead of answering, Dalia completely lost it. He started driving over 100 miles per hour, completely erratic. Michael had to calm her down. He actually apologized for accusing her. even though he was starting to suspect the truth. He wanted to believe it wasn't her. But the police had suspicions too. They saw how calm and emotionless she was when Michael was having a breakdown over what was happening. She didn't seem worried at all. And then the next morning, Dalia lied and told Michael she was pregnant. She wasn't. It was just another part of the manipulation. She needed to throw him off the scent. Because here's where it gets even more twisted. That same day, she texted her ex-boyfriend saying she missed him and wanted to hook up. Not those exact words, but you get the idea. She met up with him soon after. Now, this poor guy had been on and off with her, always being pulled in, pushed away, dragged along emotionally, and yet he still showed up. Dalia asked him to pretend to be a lawyer. She wanted him to call Michael and say that in order to get off probation, he had to sign the house over to her name. And he did it. Michael believed it. He signed the house over to the woman who would soon try to have him killed. All because he thought she was pregnant and he trusted her. And once again, she got what she wanted from the ex-boyfriend. She ghosted him, never spoke to him again. Wasn't done. She reached out to another ex-boyfriend. This time she asked him to help her hire a hitman. The plan was simple. Michael was in her way. The house was in her name now. If he was gone, he'd get everything. Now luckily, his second ex was smart. He didn't say yes, didn't say no either. Instead, he went straight to the police and told them everything. And this is where the Boynton Beach police really stepped up. They decided not to arrest her right away. Instead, they wanted to get all on video. So they had the ex-boyfriend meet with her again with a hidden camera in his car. During that meeting, Dalia handed him a picture of Michael, a picture of their house, and a $3,000 payment to get the murder started. It's all on tape. The police didn't stop there. They arranged for Dalia to meet with the supposed hitman, the man she thought was going to kill her husband. He was actually an undercover narcotics officer. So not even 6 months after getting married, Dalia climbed into a parked car to discuss how she wanted to have her husband murdered. The whole thing was being recorded. And what's wild is that during the recording, he kept glancing into the back seat right at the hidden camera. He clearly had some suspicion. Not enough to stop her. Here's how the conversation went, more or less. Are you sure you want to do this? I'm like at 9,000% sure. That's what she said. She wouldn't quite say kill him, but she made it very clear what she was asking for. She wanted Michael dead. They even discussed the plan in detail. He would be at the gym early in the morning. While Michael walked the dog, that's when the hit would happen. So on the morning of the planned murder, Dalia leaves for the gym at 5:40 a.m. While she's working out, police go to the house and knock on the door. They tell Michael, your wife has hired someone to kill you. Thinks it's happening right now. We need to get you out of here. We're running a sting operation. Michael, understandably shocked, agrees. So the police send everything up. Fake crime scene tape, fake blood, news crews to film the entire thing. It was all part of the setup to catch Dalia red-handed. About an hour later, Dalia is called back home. Arrives, sees the scene, completely breaks down sobbing. The whole time, everyone around her knows that Michael is alive. Everyone but her. She throws herself onto a police officer, begging to see her husband. Please, I need to see my husband. I need to see him. But they don't let her. Not yet. They bring her to the station, still playing along. Back at the station, police are still in character. Dalia is playing the grieving widow, sobbing, confused, still denying knowing anything about the man they claim they found at the house. Excuse me. The detectives lay it all out. Tell her to stop pretending they got it all. Audio, video, text, meetings. There's no way out of this. Dalia keeps denying everything, over and over again. I didn't do it. That's not true. I didn't do anything. And the police are like, we literally have you on tape saying you're 9,000% sure. You have the money, you have the photos you gave him. Still, she shakes her head and insists, I didn't do that. It's like she's not even living in reality anymore. They finally stop pushing for a confession. They don't even need it. The evidence is airtight. Arrested, taken to jail. Then, of course, she gets one phone call. Who does she call? Michael, the man she just tried to have killed. And I'll never forget this part. Because if you ever wanted a masterclass in manipulation and gaslighting, this phone call is it. Dalia calls Michael from jail, and instead of apologizing or trying to explain, he flips the entire narrative. He tells him, and you need to hire a lawyer for me. Michael says, "You know what you did? They showed me everything. I saw the footage. I saw you giving him money. Heard you say you were sure you wanted me dead." Dalia, completely unfazed, says, "They showed me all the same stuff too. I didn't do it." Michael is stunned. He says, "What are you talking about? I saw and heard you say it." He goes, "I saw it too, but I didn't do it. You think I would do that to you?" It was pure psychological manipulation. She tried to make him question his own memory, his own understanding of reality. She even accused him of not loving her. He wasn't helping her get a lawyer. And he's like, "You tried to kill me." She responds again and again, "No, I didn't." It's maddening. You can't reason with someone like that. She was gaslighting him to the absolute extreme, talking in circles, never acknowledging what happened, even as she's shown clear, undeniable proof. JCS criminal psychology actually breaks this moment down and explains how her tactics follow typical narcissistic and sociopathic behavior, trying to make Michael feel crazy. He wanted to spin the story until he didn't know what to believe anymore. And you can hear in his voice, he's devastated, exhausted, still reeling from the betrayal, and now being emotionally manipulated by the very person who tried to end his life. So Dalia spends about 20 months in jail before her first trial finally begins in April 2011. And get ready for this. Her defense was that the entire thing was fake. She claimed it had all been an act, a hoax, a media stunt. She and Michael were supposedly in on it together because he wanted to be on TV. The whole murder plot was something they just planned, just so he could be famous. Seriously, that's what her lawyer told the court. According to her, it was all supposed to be fake. Then Michael turned on her. He bailed on the plan, left her hanging, and made it all look real. And yeah, no one bought that. After just 3 hours of deliberation, the jury came back with a guilty verdict on May 13th, 2011. During sentencing, Michael gave his victim impact statement. Broke my heart. Said he had been a good husband, really loved Dalia. He didn't want any of this to happen. He even admitted that when he got out of prison years ago, he'd served his time and accepted responsibility for what he did. He contrasted that with Dalia, who wouldn't take accountability at all. He said all he ever wanted was his house back. He was even willing to help her avoid jail time. Told her over the phone, "Sign the house back over to me, and I'll try to talk to the police. I'll tell them not to charge you." She refused. He said, "It's my house. I'm not giving it back." Even though she tried to kill him, couldn't let go, couldn't admit to anything. Michael said that during the trial, his father passed away. Because of the trial, he wasn't able to be there in his father's final moments. He talked about how unfair it all was, how much it had taken from his life, and how she was still trying to hurt him by refusing to accept any responsibility. So after all that, the undercover sting, the jail call, the trial, the guilty verdict, you think this was over, right? Nope. Not even a month later, Dalia's conviction was thrown out on a technicality. I was mad when I found this out. Somehow she ended up on house arrest instead of back in jail. Not just for a few months, for 6 years. He literally tried to have her husband murdered. She spent the next 6 years living freely in her house, just waiting for the next trial. She wasn't allowed to leave, but still, hard to call that justice. So finally, in 2016, her second trial began. You guessed it, Dalia stuck with the same ridiculous story. She also added a few new details this time. She said the police only went after her because she was attractive, and they knew they could use her looks to make the story blow up in the media. She accused them of being fame hungry. She said they manipulated the situation just for attention. Then she claimed that in those videos, when she clearly hands over money and says she's 9,000% sure, what we couldn't see was that the ex-boyfriend and the undercover cop were actually pointing guns at her in the car. She only went through with it. She was being threatened, which, come on. Completely unhinged, totally desperate, and just another attempt to spin the truth into something she could use to protect herself. In June of 2017, after years of appeals and legal drama, the jury finally came back. Guilty. For real this time. And in July 2017, Michael Dippolito was sentenced to 16 years in prison, without the possibility of parole. Her official release date is August 24th, 2032. She'll be 50 years old when she gets out. She's currently serving her time in Gainesville, Florida. All of her appeals since then, denied. But finally, after all the lies, the gaslighting, and the courtroom drama, justice caught up with him. Because remember, she tricked him into signing over the house by using her ex-boyfriend to pretend to be a lawyer. That was total fraud. Yes, thankfully, the judge granted the house back to Michael. Took years and it wasn't easy, but he got it back. There's also a wild detail I found out later. Michael and Dalia's divorce couldn't even be finalized until after the first trial was over. So through the entire court process, while she was literally being tried for plotting his murder, they were still legally married. Can you imagine being technically married to someone who tried to have you killed? What really struck me about this case was how deeply manipulative Dalia was. The way she gaslit Michael, how she lied and spun reality to everyone she came into contact with. It was truly disturbing. And honestly, I give the Boynton Beach Police Department so much credit. They didn't just arrest her based on hearsay. They went all in. They documented everything. Hidden cameras, audio recordings, news crews, a staged crime scene. It was a masterclass in building an airtight case. Thankfully, no one died in this story. And that's one of the few silver linings here. Michael survived. The police stopped the plan just in time, and justice eventually was served. This case is also a powerful reminder about toxic relationships. If you're in a situation where you feel trapped, manipulated, or emotionally abused, please reach out. You're not alone. You can call the Domestic Abuse Hotline at 1-800-799-7233 or text 1-800-787-3224 for help. There is a way out. The people who care are ready to help you find it. So with that, give us a thumbs up if you like our video. Hit that subscribe button down below. Hit the bell notification button to be notified of future videos. And give me your thoughts on the case in the comment section below. And if you want to support the channel, you can buy us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/TCNS. Always, the URL is right above me. And anything you give is greatly appreciated and goes right back into this channel. Helps us make even more great content. And with that, thank you so much for watching and listening. We'll see you next time.